Thank you, Speaker. I rise on behalf of the Greens to speak against this censure motion. Using censure motions should be done sparingly and seriously, and they certainly should not ever be used to weaponise or for basic political point scoring. But this censure motion goes beyond disgraceful on that level. What we are seeing with this censure motion and the entire approach of the opposition in relation to question time for this last sitting fortnight has been nothing short of shameful. On the other side of the world, so many civilians have and continue to lose their lives. The devastation, displacement and death continues. Here in New South Wales, our communities are grieving, living in constant states of anxiety and experiencing trauma and re-trauma as a result of the indiscriminate attacks raining down on Gaza, the tragic loss of civilian lives as a result of the attacks on civilians in Palestine and Israel, and the pain at having lost loved ones or being out of contact with them as a result of horrific acts of violence. We are also seeing reports here and around the world of increased Islamophobia and anti-Semitism, and I note the Minister's comments just then in relation to the warning from police for people not to be using inflamed language. The result of this is further harm and further hurt, and there is a privilege for those who are able to speak in this place or in society where they are able to talk on international issues without feeling the raining down of the racism, discrimination and vitriol that comes at people that are not white in this country. In the wake of all of this, and the fact that the opposition is seeking to use this censure motion to weaponise this horrific and unspeakable unfolding humanitarian and human rights disaster for their own domestic political agenda, and to seek to undermine the police minister in this process is nothing short of shameful. The opposition focusing on and amplifying unacceptable anti-Semitic activities of a tiny minority at the Opera House last week, instead of focusing on the thousands of peaceful community members that came together to gather either in Hyde Park or Dover Heights to express their grief and despair at the humanitarian and human rights crisis unfolding, is amplifying the voices of a far-right extremism that will hurt us all in this society. No one who is grieving, no one who is watching in horror at what is unfolding right now in Palestine, no one who is experiencing the fear of anti-Semitism. While
order,
no one who is grieving, no one who is watching in horror at what is unfolding right now in Palestine, no one who is experiencing anti-Semitism or Islamophobia here in New South Wales or around the globe is benefiting or feeling comfort in any way from the actions of the opposition behind me. The only people they are serving right now is their own personal political interest, and it is despicable. While we in the Greens may have concerns about the unchecked powers of the New South Wales Police and may differ in our views on the role of police and the police minister, this censure motion is just the latest attempt by the opposition to play the ball and not to play the person and not the ball. It is disgraceful. The Greens do not support this censure motion, and we urge the opposition to stop using such horrific global humanitarian crises and disasters for their own political gain, and to start thinking about the impacts of them completely, repeatedly referring to the horrific comments that were made last week and the ongoing re-traumatisation that has on communities, and the whipping up and amplifying of far-right and neo-Nazi messages does not just harm the Jewish community here, does not just harm it all, but it harms the peace and the community that we are all here to represent.